the fourth topic.
Welcome to the September 11th edition of Colorado Inside Postgame, a special web exclusive production here on Channel 12. Let's get a quick take on former Colorado Governor Bill Owens announcing his endorsement this week of Republican presidential candidate Jeb Bush, and that he will co-chair his campaign here in Colorado. Patty Calhoun from Westward, I guess this isn't terribly surprising, but seeing that I think with the latest count 17 presidential candidates on the Republican side, is this early to hear from somebody like Bill Owens, or does he know where this is probably going?
It's early, and I guess he probably just knows Jeb Bush, felt why not. I didn't notice a huge bump in the polls from Bill Owens making this announcement. It didn't seem to push Jeb. Did it push him over 10%? I don't think so. Smartest thing Jeb did this week was go on the first episode of Stephen Colbert, where he seemed a lot more personable than he did in the last debate. We'll see how well he does on the debate coming up September 16th, which, not surprisingly, is happening on Colorado Pot Tax-Free Day. The Republican debate, free taxes.
Coincidence? We think not. Mike Krause from the Independence Institute. I guess it's not a big surprise. Governor Owens was pretty close with with President George W. Bush. But what do you think this is going to do to Colorado politics? I mean, are we still going to be talking about Donald Trump at this point, or I mean, are we that lucky to actually have him in the news cycle all the way through 2016, or is it really Jeb Bush's campaign to lose at this point?
Well, I think obviously, I think Donald Trump will stay. I mean, that's going to be an ongoing, continuous news cycle until I think until he just gets tired of doing it and moves on to the next thing, which is, I assume, is the plan. It's not just, by the way, Bill Owens who's gotten behind Jeb Bush. It's also former Colorado State Republican Chair Ryan Call is also on board with this. He's been heavily on Facebook talking about this, and it makes perfect sense. Jeb Bush is, I think you could best probably refer to Jeb Bush as pretty much like an establishment. When you're talking about the fractioned GOP in Colorado, especially, that Jeb Bush is an ideal candidate for what you might call the establishment GOP. But no, you're not. You're still going to have. There's still going to be people out there. There's still a Carly Fiorini crowd out there. There is a Donald Trump crowd out there. But Carly seems to have a pretty good crowd amongst Colorado Republicans at the moment, and so does Ted Cruz. And so I don't think this is not necessarily a Bush thing to lose in Colorado. I think we're just get warmed up. It just actually falls in very nicely into the hugely fractioned Colorado Republican Party.
Ed Sealer from the Denver Business Journal, Mike brought up how broken up the Colorado Republican Party is. Does Bill Owens still carry enough influence to at least maybe bring back a few of those groups, if not all the wings, but at least a few of them enough to create a pretty good momentum for Jeb here in Colorado?
Well, I mean, you talk about a fractured party. There are still people who are angry at Bill Owens for backing Referendum C 10 years ago. So it's
Elephants
not
have long memories.
yeah, it's not going to unite the party behind one candidate. I mean, it certainly won't hurt. Bill Owens is still one of the most recognizable Republican names out there. But I think this comes about a month after a far less covered endorsement, which was former State Senate Minority Leader Josh Penry endorsing and saying he will be the chairman for Marco Rubio's campaign here in Colorado. Penry doesn't have as big a name as Owens does. Penry is married to a woman who runs probably Colorado's biggest Republican fundraising firm. And so I think that's going to carry with it just as much as this is. I think we'll be curious to see where some others are going to jump in now, and if there are others that kind of pick up the mantle. But at least for right now, I think this defines Bush and Rubio as the two mainstream Colorado Republican candidates, and we'll see if that's going to be enough of a boost to bring their candidates up.
And new to the CIO table, Miguel Baca Barragon, thank you very much for joining us. Radio talk show host on 760 AM, Weekend Wisdoms show, right, on Saturdays?
Correct.
So I think Ed brought up a great point about kind of maybe the two mainstream frontrunners in Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush. When you look at Colorado Republicans, you have kind of a new school candidate, kind of an old school candidate. Where do you think the ultimate Colorado vote's going to go?
Well, with the new initiative that's out there, and let's not go wrong, we have a lot of conservatives that are also pot smokers. So when we think of how the demographics have changed in Colorado itself within the past couple of years, that's a hard line to define. I was kind of surprised that they didn't look for a minority of some sort, since our demographics are also changing within the voting population within the cities here. However, with Governor Owens, and he was a moderate governor, so he did get along with both sides. He was able to get things done that he wasn't so far right that it really offset some of the more moderate voters. So I think it was a wise decision, and I know that Governor Owens has had a long history with the Bush family, so it makes perfect sense to have someone in your corner. And I think he still holds a pretty solid name here, except for the gas and oil, anti-gas and oil people, of course. However, we'll see how that turns out, but I think it was a relative good idea.
That is all the time we have for Colorado Inside Postgame this week. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. For everyone here at Colorado Public Television and CPT12.org, I'm Dominic DeZiti. Thanks for watching.